there, I'm Melissa. Thank you so much for following along as I explore the unique charm of Japan's Takarazuka Revue. So in last week's episode, I looked at Senka, or the superior members, a group of highly trained and experienced, typically more senior Takarazuka actresses. In this week's episode, I'm continuing the thread of looking at some of Takarazuka's more senior actresses as I attempt to answer the question, what is a Kumicho? So I'll be discussing what the role of a Kumicho and Fukukumicho is, how Kumicho are selected, as well as giving a brief introduction to the current 5 Kumicho. So to start off with, what is a Kumicho? Well, in English, Kumi means troupe and cho means leader. So Kumicho is essentially troupe leader or manager. Fukukumicho, fuku means vice. So this is essentially the vice troupe leader or manager. Each Takarazuka troupe has its own Kumicho and Fukukumicho. The Kumicho and Fukukumicho are always current actresses within the troupe. So the Kumicho's role is to manage the troupe in various ways, and the Fukukumicho's role is to support the Kumicho. Let's look first at the formalities. Kumicho and Fukukumicho will make a number of speeches on behalf of the troupe. For example, on the opening and closing days of performances, at special private performances, as well as at other events. Typically in a main production, the Kumicho will make the speech on behalf of the troupe. For side productions, because one troupe will split in half to appear in 2 different productions, typically the Kumicho will appear in one production and the Fukukumicho in the other. The Kumicho and Fukukumicho are also responsible for the troupe in making various arrangements, for example, discussions with other staff. In addition, the Kumicho and Fukukumicho are responsible for delivering daily greetings to special senior members, for example, Senka members who are appearing in the performance. These kinds of daily greetings are a really important part of Japanese culture. In terms of the actresses, the Kumicho and Fukukumicho will provide support to all members of the troupe. They will provide advice on performance and personal aspects and listen to any troubles or concerns an actress may have. Takarazuka is an extremely high-pressure world, so I imagine this is a very challenging part of the Kumicho or Fukukumicho's role. For example, I read in an interview that Mikaze Suzuho, now top star of the Cosmos troupe, became so overwhelmed with nerves before a Shinjin Koen performance that she burst into uncontrollable tears backstage. The Kumicho rushed over to her, comforted her, and ensured she was ready to go on stage as planned. The Kumicho and Fukukumicho will also carefully watch all aspects of actresses' performances. This includes not only acting, dancing, and singing, but also costume, wigs, and props. Where an actress makes a mistake on stage, for example, missing a dance step or fumbling a line, the Kumicho and Fukukumicho will take note. In Takarazuka, there is an extremely formal process of apologizing after making a mistake, which I'll get into in another episode. But essentially, actresses will first apologize to the Kumicho or Fukukumicho. The Kumicho will listen to this apology, provide a warning to the actress, as well as some advice on how to avoid the mistake in the future. The Kumicho and Fukukumicho will also step in where there are any other issues, for example, accidents or injuries. In addition to all of these different roles, the Kumicho and Fukukumicho will also appear on stage as actresses in the performances. Like members of Senka, because the Kumicho and Fukukumicho are typically older than other members of the troupe, they play a critical role in performing more senior characters, for example, parents or grandparents. So, as you can see, the role of a Kumicho or Fukukumicho is extremely challenging. They must juggle so many different tasks alongside providing so much support to all of the actresses within the troupe. So they must be able to both be a kind of motherly figure to the actress, as well as being able to become authoritative when there is a mistake or another issue. I really imagine it's kind of like being a mother to some 80 young women. So, given how critical the Kumicho and Fukukumicho are in Takarazuka, you may be wondering how they are selected. Well, as I mentioned before, the Kumicho and Fukukumicho will be among the longest serving members of a troupe. Typically, the Kumicho will be the longest serving member and the Fukukumicho will be the second longest serving member. As I've discussed in previous episodes, around 15 years is considered a really long Takarazuka career. So most actresses at this point will probably be considering graduating from Takarazuka. The exception will be actresses who are considered likely future Fukukumicho or Kumicho. In addition, where a Kumicho is an otokoyaku, typically the Fukukumicho will be a musumeyaku, and if the Kumicho is a musumeyaku, the Fukukumicho will usually be an otokoyaku. I guess an otokoyaku is in the best position to advise on the role of an otokoyaku, and a musumeyaku the same for musumeyaku. So in terms of how they're actually appointed, where a Kumicho leaves Takarazuka, the Fukukumicho will move up to the Kumicho role, and a new Fukukumicho will be appointed. If a Fukukumicho leaves Takarazuka, a new Fukukumicho will be appointed. I said leave rather than graduate because it is actually really common for Kumicho or Fukukumicho to join Senka, which I discussed in last week's episode. Actually, of the current 14 Senka members, 6 were previously Kumicho and 1 was previously a Fukukumicho prior to joining Senka. So, where there is a Fukukumicho vacancy, typically the second longest serving actress in a troupe will be appointed to that position. However, like any promotion, there is an interview process for the position. So, if an actress doesn't pass the interview, she will not be appointed to the role of Fukukumicho. In addition, the role of a Kumicho and Fukukumicho is extremely challenging, so not all actresses will accept this position. For example, a Kumicho and Fukukumicho are typically expected to serve in Takarazuka for a long time. So an actress thinking about retiring in the next year or two probably wouldn't want to become Kumicho or Fukukumicho. In addition, it is very common in Takarazuka for top stars or nibante to become some of the longest serving members of a troupe. However, they will not usually become Fukukumicho or Kumicho. Of course, they'll be really far too busy for these responsibilities. For example, Seto Kazuya of the Flower Troupe, whose photos are plastered all over my wall, is currently the second longest serving actress in the Flower Troupe, but she will not become Fukukumicho because she is nibante. Typically, the actresses who become Kumicho and Fukukumicho will not have been the stars of their troupe. So not the top star, top musumeyaku, nibante or sambante. They will be actresses who are extremely committed to their troupe and supporting its members, very reliable and responsible, with strong leadership skills, and of course excellent performers with the authority to instruct the younger members of the troupe. When a new Fukukumicho is appointed, this news is always posted on the Takarazuka website. For example, this year, the current Kumicho of the star troupe, Mariuzumi, will be moving to Senka. So, the current Fukukumicho, Miki Chugusa, will become Kumicho, and the current third longest serving member of the troupe, Shirotaya Natsu, will become Fukukumicho. So the Kumicho and Fukukumicho are incredibly respected within their troupe, Takarazuka, and amongst fans. One interesting thing to note is that in Takarazuka Theatre, there is a special dressing room called the Kanbu Heya, or Executive Room. So this room is reserved for the 4 longest serving actresses of a troupe. Typically, Kumicho, Fukukumicho, and 2 other actresses. Backstage space seems to be really limited at the Takarazuka Theatre, so it's such a great sign of respect for these more senior actresses that they have a private room. Okay, so to give you a bit of a better idea about the kinds of actresses who become Kumicho, I'm going to give a brief introduction to the current 5 Kumicho. First up, we have Kumicho of the Flower Troupe, Takasho Mizuki. So Takasho joined Takarazuka as an otokoyaku in 1990, and she performed with the Moon and Cosmos troupes before moving to the Flower Troupe in 2000. She became Fukukumicho in 2007 and Kumicho in 2012. Honestly, if there was any person in the world who I could force to have a sit-down, tell-all chat with me, it would be Takasho. My mind sort of boggles at just the amount of knowledge and stories she must have from her long time with Takarazuka. But this is a wish that will never come true. I have read in interviews that Takusho is extremely good at making friends with children, which seems like a very necessary trait for any good kumicho. By the way, the former Fukukumicho of the flower troupe, Hana no Juria, is my favourite Takarazuka musume of all time, but unfortunately she graduated last year. So following on, we have the current kumicho of the moon troupe, Kozuki. So Kozuki is an otokoyaku who joined Takarazuka in 2002. She became Fukukumicho in May 2018 and then Kumicho in November of that year. So Kozuki is incredibly bright and her comedic performances in particular are so fun to watch on stage. So next up, we have Kumicho of the snow troupe, Sono Haruto, an otokoyaku who joined Takarazuka in 1999. So Sono became Fukukumicho in 2014 and then Kumicho in 2019. I actually had the chance to watch one of her speeches this year and she seems so warm and gentle. The snow troupe is a little bit interesting because in recent years there have been a few actresses who have not become kumicho or fukukumicho despite their seniority. It's unknown whether this was the actress's choice or the choice of the company, so it's a bit of a mystery. Next up is the current kumicho of the star troupe, Mari Yuzumi. So Mari is a musumeyaku who joined Takarazuka in 1984. She became Fukukumicho in 2000 and Kumicho in 2012. As I mentioned earlier, Mari is set to move to Senka this year. She was meant to be moving from May, however, due to the impact the coronavirus has had on performances, this move has been delayed for the time being. Mari is an incredibly beautiful and elegant performer and a perfect fit for Senka. Last up, we have the current kumicho of the Cosmos troupe, Kotobuki Tsukasa. So Kotobuki joined Takarazuka in 1990 and moved from the Snow troupe to the Cosmos troupe in 1998. She became Fukukumicho in 2005 and Kumicho in 2008. Kotobuki seems like such a cool person, and to act as kumicho for 12 years is an incredible achievement. So that is a kumicho. From their regal appearance on stage to the incredible amount of support they provide the actresses within a troupe, Kumicho and Fukukumicho are essential players in Takarazuka. Juggling all of those different responsibilities is no mean feat, and truly only special actresses with an incredible commitment to their troupe can become Kumicho or Fukukumicho. So, in next week's episode, I'm going to be moving back to looking at the early part of an actress's career in Takarazuka as I attempt to answer the question, what is the Takarazuka Music School? I really hope you'll tune in. And if you've been liking this series so far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care. Bye!